What's going on, guys? It's Switcher here. Let's talk about the Grav, how to get it gold, the best class setup to do so. So not necessarily the best class setup to play with kind of game to game, but to get it gold, the game mode you want to be playing, and then we'll rattle off the camo challenges. Because it is an AR, it's a pretty capable AR, it's not too difficult, but we'll run through it real quick. So for the majority of the challenges, I'm rocking the Diamondback Reflex, kind of like the last attachment here. But I actually used the Susat multi-seam for a lot of it, purely because I was playing a lot of hardcore deprogram, easy to get long shots, easy to get kills behind cover, like that sort of thing. So I actually used the multi-seam. It was alright, it was pretty decent. It forces you to slow down your playstyle a bit, which isn't ideal from my perspective, but it's equally viable. I did use the Holo Scout for a little bit. But yeah, sights are pretty much your preference. I wouldn't use the iron sights, they don't give you the clearest line of vision, but that is just my preference. No muzzle, barrel. I used a steady aim laser for a little bit until I unlocked kind of these 4 attachments. I didn't use any muzzle or barrel because I was in hardcore. The gun hits pretty hard. It's a one-shot kill at most distances, if not all distances. Yeah, I really didn't see much issue with that. Similarly, there was no real point being kept off like the radar and stuff because I was on hardcore, and if they had a UAV in the air, they had a UAV in the air. Underbarrel. I was using the infiltrator grip for a long time just to increase the speed before I switched to the speed grip at the end. The magazine, this is what I switched out for when I took the laser off. So I originally had the 50 round and the jungle style mag before I went to the Black Ops mini clamp. Of course, the drop shot handle was used mostly until we unlocked the airborne pistol grip, just because I like to drop shot. That's literally the only reason. If you've seen these videos before, you'll know that. And then the stock, I was running the marathon stock before we went to Raider. Didn't really make too much difference. You could switch this out pretty much whatever you want. It's a decent all-round gun, so there's nothing you need to worry about too much, unless maybe you're playing core, in which case maybe you want to put on a barrel just to give that extra bit of damage. I don't usually talk about kind of like the perks and stuff that I bring in, but I was actually playing without Ghost and having Cold-Blooded on, just because it gave me that security when I was playing game modes that weren't like 6v6 face-off, that I could still run around and continue to kill when enemies had, you know, all manner of kill streaks in the air, because I seemed to come up in some very sweaty lobbies. But as that went on and I was kind of stopped focusing on needing to like slay out and just needed to pick up certain kills for challenges, I switched that back out to Ghost. It's pretty standard, just wanted to highlight that. And then finally, if we talk about game modes, bit of a tricky one. I did the last few challenges, or the last handful of kind of objectives, and newt-jacked. It is pretty much like hijacks 90% of the time, so if you are trying to get into Newtown for long shots, it's not ideal. You can do them in deprogram, and there's lots of long lines of sight. You've got to kind of watch that top room where the red doors lead you to, because people like to sit in there. They also like to sit in there, so whenever you try and get in there, they're just going to sit in one of the rooms that you spawn into and shoot you in the back. It's incredibly annoying. Face off is great too, obviously. Far more fast paced if you want to rack up kills early on, level up the gun, and just get a feel for it. That's a great game mode as well. I think most people know that. If you want to play core, you can pretty much just replicate these if you want, just on the core side of things. You could play face off if you wanted to. It is 3v3 on here, or the 12v12 mosh pit. But let's jump into the challenges. So first up, we of course have 300 eliminations. As always, I'm not going to tell you how to get these. If you don't know by now, I probably can't help you. Then we have 100 headshot medals. I actually struggled with this more than I usually do with an AR. I don't know if I was just tired and not being particularly accurate, but yeah, I struggled with this more than I like to. But the usual rules do apply. If someone's AFK, shoot them in the head. You know, don't waste easy chances to get headshots. Similarly, make sure, well, what I find is if you aim just above the head, as opposed to kind of aiming at that chest, neck, and trying to drag your aim up, you'll find that you overcorrect and drag it all the way down if you aim just above the head, and it kind of sorts out that issue. So that's pretty useful to do. But yeah, they will come naturally, and there might be, you know, 2 to 5 games you have to really focus on them for, but it isn't that bad. It was one of the last ones I got done though. Then we have 5 kills without dying 20 times, with all kills coming from the Grav. And pretty simple. Face Off is great for this. You're going to pick up 5 pieces as spawns get all messed up and you just slay out. Similarly with Hijacks, that's a great map to do it on. It's pretty easy. If you are struggling, don't be afraid to just sit back for a few minutes, especially if you're on, you know, 2, 3, 4 kills. If you're really struggling, the way to do it is just to solely focus on this, get 1 of them done, so get 5 kills without dying once in a game, and then just do whatever else you want to do in that game. So you know at maximum it'll take you 20 games to do this. That's probably the best way to do it if you are struggling. Then it's 50 long shots. Deprogram's great for this. If you can get a nuke town, obviously that's pretty useful for this. I think most people know that by now. I actually did quite a few of these in Face Off on the KGB map, just lay right in the far back corners, and that works pretty well. You know, people just run past their easy long shots. It is possible to do it in other Face Off maps. It can just be a little bit trickier, but it's definitely viable to do in Face Off if you just want to stick with that. And then we have 75 enemies detected, stunned or blinded. For this, you're going to want to take yourself out of Face Off initially and see what the lobbies are like in Deprogram and Nuke Jacked. Make sure you're running field mics, UAVs, harps, all of that kind of stuff. You can run stuns if you want, or flashes, but I prefer to run a stim and just rely on those other pieces of equipment personally, especially in hardcore. If that's not working, you're really struggling so you can get your UAVs in the air, you're countering some super sweaty lobbies over there, go back into Face Off. As soon as you've got that field mic, try and stick it somewhere that's relatively secluded but in the middle of the map, and pretty much everyone that runs by it will be picked up by this. I think this was the last challenge I completed. Was it last challenge? Maybe second to last challenge I completed. It's not hard, it's just a bit of a pain in the ass. And then we have shoot and kill 50 enemies taking cover from you. Again, just not difficult anymore, it's just a pain in the ass. Nuke Town's fantastic if you sit in either of those kind of like top windows. Anyone that looks at you from the opposite top window, unless they're kind of mantling over the window frame, will be behind cover. It's one of the fastest and easiest ways to just churn out kills that way. Highly recommend it. I'll just go into Nuke Town for a couple of games and get them done. Yeah, it's not too bad. Deprogram, you can get them done if you have the right sort of lobby, if people are playing quite slow. But otherwise there seems to be enough open ground that I wasn't really getting too many registered kills for this one in Deprogram. Face Off works, but it's pretty chaotic. You won't have much time to focus on getting them. So Nuke Town's your best bet. Hijacked isn't bad. But yeah, getting into Nuke Town is half the battle with this one. And then we have kill 2 or more enemies rapidly 25 times, so double kills. Super easy. Face Off, Nuke Jacks, Deprogram, take your pick. Super easy. And as far as the timing goes, you essentially, a way to time it is when you kill that first person, you get the one-shot medal pop-up, you know, the long shot medal pop-up. You have until those medals at the top of the screen disappear for that first kill to try and get your second one, and it should count. And you'll know if it counts because it'll come up with double kill. But as a way to time it, if you think you should be getting them and you're not, that's probably a pretty good way to time yourself, just as a caveat on that. And that is the last challenge. Pretty easy, it's an AR, it's not too bad. Yeah, it's really not difficult. I'll have the guide for the shotgun out, if not today then tomorrow. And that's all I really have to say on it. As always, if you did enjoy the video, give it a like, subscribe if you want to find your way back. Hope you all have a good day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.